Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League. I am Mazel, joined by Magical and Moshi one more time.
Woo!
Let's go. It's going to be a lot of fun, though, as we do get to a bit of a downtime segment. We do have a incredible game number 1 from Team Liquid Challengers. We'll get to our Turo Key drive here in a little bit, but this first game, specifically the graphic, has to come up because we have to talk about the domineering and 16,000 ending up gold lead that Team Liquid built for themselves here in game 1, Joshi.
It's wild to me that the gold graph, like the spike when they get the 4 kills, looks so small.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because it was only 1,000 gold that they got off of it, but still, that's the kind of lead where that early on in the game absolutely blows things out of the water. You can see that based on how it went, the damage numbers, they feel like they're lying, right? Because there wasn't actually that much fighting. You know?
Oh,
what?
I thought you were going to have some input there.
Yeah, same here.
Mr.
No, I'm more confused. I was waiting for Josh to say something. He's just like, fighting.
You know, it's just like, people just died, right? You get really crazy damage numbers.
They do that every day, John.
Well, you get really crazy damage numbers when fights are like going on for long periods of time. You get these like really small looking damage numbers when you just like absolutely clap a team because they don't have time to regenerate between the fights.
It was an incredible lead developed early that Team Liquid continued pressing in. There were some pretty good fight backs, but it all started with our Turo Key drive, and I would like to go ahead and bring up the clip as soon as possible.
I wonder what the clip
is.
is.
I wonder what it could be.
Oh my goodness.
I was yelling out Cope all game long to Joshi as he was coping so hard, but Arrow starts off the series with a bang and with a quadra kill for his own.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, just getting all of these kills, the fact that Mirror is able to get here, the fact that APA also joins in the fight at the same time is just ridiculous. Like, Arrow got everything it could have possibly asked for it. And to top it all off, right, getting the double buffs at the very end with Mirror dying actually helps out them even further because they can be even more lane dominant when they have more money and the buffs that are suddenly coming through.
Just rubbing salt on the wound at that point. You're just like, not only is he getting a quadra kill and coming back to lane with a whole component above me, but now I can't actually do anything to him because he's got infinite mana and he burns me anytime I try to auto attack him.
I got to give a huge shout out to Hippie, our replay obs, who was able to give a little directed cam love to that replay, and Arrow for giving us that play. Also, shout out to Masu. He did not step back, he stepped forward, and that's the kind of stuff you love to see.
Well, he was going to die regardless.
Yes,
so.
exactly. But when these two ADCs come together, that's what you want. You want some fireworks, and I think that's exactly what we got, at least from one side. We'll see if another comes out of it in game number 2. I do want to go ahead and get to our Rally Cry halftime show because I have a bit of a game that I like to call How We Feeling. Because, fellas, I know it's a long day for you guys. Got a lot of casts. The players are going. We got emotes that you can get if you subscribe to the channel, and I want to get some feelings from you guys on how these players did.
Subscribe to the channel. This one and Path to LCS. Don't forget about that.
If you want the cool emotes, you know where to subscribe. But I'll go ahead and bring it up now. It is an interesting graphic in its own right, but it is to have a execution on it. That you know, the graphic doesn't need to be beautiful.
What?
So first and foremost, the goal here is we're seeing how we're feeling with the emotes. What emotes are we feeling for each one of these guys? We've got the Pug, who was the player of the game. We've got who needs a hug after that game number 1. We got Giga Chad, who was the man that stepped up here in the moment. And of course, the checkmate, the glasses, the light up glasses. And got a note, something, right, Magical? You gotta take notes. You gotta make sure that you're learning from game number 1 going into game 2. So you got a little bit of breathing room for where your feelings lie, but I would like to go ahead and start.
Hugs for everyone on FlyQuest because they're gonna need it.
All right. Hold on. Let me get to that. Let me go ahead and start. All right. There's 1, 2,
yeah, perfect.
3,
Perfect.
4, 5. They all get hugs.
I don't know what I was expecting, but drawing lines between them was not on my bingo card.
Honestly, I could probably make it better if I did. Oh no, it's gonna take way too long. All right, let's not do that. Let's not do that. All right, so all of FlyQuest get hugs. Is there anybody on Team Liquid that needs a hug?
No, they're doing
Are we
fine.
feeling like everybody needs a hug on Team
No,
Liquid?
they're doing
No,
fine.
everybody's feeling good.
They're hanging out.
Yeah. They're very happy. Pog got to go to Arrow. You know,
Ooh.
Kuroki drive.
Does
moment.
it? I actually think it goes to Mir.
Mir, no. Mir gets Giga Chat.
Ooh. Mir gets Giga Chess. See, I was leaning the
Arcade
other
Nolos
way.
the 2.
You can,
Huh?
you could. We
Arcade
can always give more.
Los the 2.
If you want to give FlyQuest other things, you can also give him more. But all right,
Okay.
so what are we thinking?
I mean, the big thing, right? Like, Arrow got the quadra kill, but wasn't really like he had one other contribution to the game after that, right? In the bottom lane fight. Mir had like multiple solo kills and was also picking up people in the side lanes and also engaged almost every fight deck.
Well, that's why I think he gets Giga Chat.
Giga Chad.
Okay.
That's why I think he gets
Okay.
Giga Chat.
All right, we're going Giga Chad. It's
That's
Mir
why,
to
and that's why I
Giga
give
Chad.
Pog to Arrow just because it's a Pog moment.
I guess it is the play of the game.
It
Yeah,
is
exactly.
the play of the
For
game.
sure.
Look how
All
cute
right,
that
all
emote
So,
is. If
see,
you
there
want
you
him, by the
go.
way, subscribe.
And then checkmate.
Lennon, can you turn your face sideways there? Because it looks like a heart. Your mouth.
It does,
It does.
actually.
I thought you were gonna go the other way, like you could make me like eating the heart that's coming out of the next emote. There's
Did I
two
send you
ways to
that
think of
fish?
things, all right?
Did I send you the gif of the cleaner fish the other day?
Yes.
Yeah. It can
Oh,
also
good
be
times.
that.
Anyways, all right. So we got hugs for all of FlyQuest. They need
Yeah.
a little bit of feeling good. We've gotten the play of the game,
Yeah.
Arrow, who deserves it after that quadra kill early. Now you've got Mir with the Giga Chad. Now, where else are we looking? Where are the rest of Team Liquid?
I
Were
actually
they
wanna
passengers?
I want to give Bradley the taking notes.
Okay.
Because in his solo kill, in his solo kill that he had up against Faisal up in the top lane, he actually showed some really cool like micro thinking that is not something I've seen nearly as much from Bradley in the past, right? Using the stun first before throwing out the ult to
Yeah, that was
guarantee
good.
maximum damage was probably the most like big brain. No, not that one. Let's give him the checkmate one instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give him the
I was
checkmate
thinking
one.
checkmate
There you
for
go.
him, and then like taking notes for.
Maybe all of FlyQuest again.
Yeah, they honestly, yeah, they need to go back to the drawing board and take a lot of notes.
I'm gonna go back though. It can't all be bad feelings for FlyQuest. 'Cause I actually had
That
they
game,
had
yes,
some
it can.
incredible fight backs. No,
Yes,
they
it can.
actually had some life
No, they
left.
did not.
All right,
did.
sell me on it, Mazel. How are you
you-
feeling?
Yeah, you
I'm-
gotta sell me on this one because I feel like they had some poke and that was what their
I'm
comp
giving
did,
the
and
take
that's it.
notes to UG
Okay.
because I think that for me, when I look at the take notes, it's more so looking at what can I learn from game one going in game two, and I think it's something that UG can absolutely use in his advantage against Mir because the jungle matchup, while we can focus on Arrow Masu so much, it still a lot of time comes down to these two guys and a lot of the forward foots that they put out. So that is my sell. All right, gotta give some positivity to FlyQuest.
Now with I don't know how to say this without coming off really mean, but that's mostly because I'm a color caster. I feel like Spyrax also put themselves in a really tough position, right? We talked about how long it took them to actually make the play happen on the bottom side. Spyrax as a Jace can't afford to be giving up 2 waves to the Cassiopeia for free, right? That is the kind of thing where it's already a tough lane matchup. You need to be getting the money because Jace is a character that is ahead until they're not, and then they're ahead again most of the time at 3 items against most characters. But you put yourself so far behind that even if the play goes well, Spyrax is still an overall loser in the play, even if the rest of his team is winning.
Yeah, it does become a lot more difficult.
So I think that's a noted, like, don't give up 3 waves. Check.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give him noted
Yeah,
too.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah. All right, what else? What else
Now, we do have a couple stragglers there, a couple lines left to give to
All right,
Team
what do we give
Liquid.
to APA?
APA,
I'll give him a Giga Chad.
I can give him a Giga
He's
Chat on that
always
one.
a Giga Chad.
Well, just because, like, the way that Ian just, like, steps up to the fight
Mhm.
is pretty nuts, right? He will
Yeah,
just
all
right,
always
all
just
right.
go forward and try and take fights, right? He flashed into Faisal and saying, like, what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
True,
That's
true.
what I thought. Good boy, sit down. And then
All
he
right.
went and killed Spyrax.
Hey, you can appreciate that. So we got a couple Giga Chads on Team
Mm-hmm.
Liquid. Last one, quickly, before we get into our last game. What's Kim down? What's he looking like? Is he
I'm gonna give
taking
him a
notes?
hug.
Give him a hug? All right.
We'll
give him a hug. We give him a hug. All right.
I mean, he did fine in that game.
He was charming everyone.
It's hard when everyone else around you is also doing really well, too.
Very true. But that is how we feeling.
Like a laser show.
Today, because I just wanted to check in, see how we're feeling on everybody. Also, if you want any of those emotes that we did use, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, our last game is ready to go, guys. We got to see who wins this match of the weekend, as you had dubbed it. So let's go ahead and kick it over to our last game.
Well, thank you, Mazel. Hopefully this last game will actually live up to that, because game 1 did not. That was Team Liquid completely trouncing at FlyQuest and really showing why they are the #1 team currently. And going into the second game here, both teams remaining on the same side. It feels like FlyQuest are just like, you know what? It all stemmed from that early play, the quadra kill that Arrow got right out of the gates that really made this game unplayable for us.
Yeah. I also want to point out that now Team Liquid Challengers, I believe I heard that Wildcard went 1-1 earlier in the day. So Team Liquid is now 5 games ahead of FlyQuest, and I believe that would make them 4 games ahead of Wildcard as well. They are taking off over this entire series, and now as we're starting to look at this next game, we set this up to be potentially the most interesting series of the entire split. Game 1 was over at like 6 minutes, right? I want to see FlyQuest fighting back a little bit more, and they're going to start by giving Masu the Zaya once again. They don't want to give Arrow the safety that was provided by this pick last game, but this is going to give Arrow the Aphelios, which has been by a large margin his best character.
Yeah, but they actually opted first to grab Kim down the Rakan and mirror that Wukong that he was so powerful on in the previous game. But a big thing, Vi. Vi has been nearly permanently banned for this entire patch that we've seen. Getting let through, in fact, it was the Sejuani ban by FlyQuest, not the Vi like they had done previously. So they can grab that here for Yuji, and I wonder if they want to get that with the Ahri for Spyrex, have that really powerful duo between Spyrex and Yuji.
Yeah, shift the pressure from the bottom lane towards the mid lane this time around. Not going for the same kind of poke composition. This is the second time that we've seen it go up against Team Liquid Challengers, and Team Liquid Challengers take it in stride. And now, I mean, I think the big thing to look at is how do you create opportunities to win? This is looking fairly similar to the draft that we saw from Evil Genius's Challengers early on in the day, where Ryoma had a couple good scoops, was able to create some opportunities to block out the divers coming out from their opponents, and absolutely go nuts. This is an incredibly safe backline that FlyQuest Challengers have built for themselves. But as we already talked about, this is a really good combination. Mir and Kim Down have been working together like a glove. They have been constantly moving every single fight and starting things in ways that FlyQuest Challengers really did not look ready for.
And now with Arrow onto that Aphelios, you were talking about that. Definitely has been one of the best performing champions for Arrow. And with how it kind of provides everything that Arrow likes, right? It has some safety that it can have from range, but also has really good engage and being aggressive in the middle of a lot of the fights. It feels like Team Liquid Honda Challengers are still getting everything that they could possibly hope for in this draft.
Yeah, and as we take a look towards the second half of it, the big thing is we do know that Faisal is going to have to blind another champion. The Cassante that they piloted in Game 1, trounced by Bradley on the cannon. Not close at all. And this time, as we're starting to look at it again, we know that APA can snag whatever character that they do want up relatively soon on B4, and it is going to be giving Bradley an opportunity to counterpick whatever it is that Faisal wants. But I really am kind of curious what it is that APA is going to try and snag here, because there's not a lot of champions that are going to be safe to the combination of the Vi and the Azir that Yuji and Spyrex have drafted for themselves.
Yeah, as Olaf is going to be banned away from Faisal, I wonder if that was kind of what they were trying to set up for FlyQuest. Get the powerful pick for Faisal, the champion that he's very well known for. Now no longer having that, as they had already banned away Jax themselves. Do you ban away the Malphite, or do you fear that Kennen enough that you just let the Malphite through, knowing that Bradley's probably going to go for that to have the Wombo combo with the rest of the team? Instead, they opt to take away some of the lane power.
Trying to figure out what that Renekton ban actually protects, right? Because Renekton very likely to struggle into both the Zaya and the Azir, just because it's struggles to even move their way in, and oh, it's the Space Dragon. This is one of my favorite champs. I'm sorry, Cubby, I know you hate it, but this champion is so darn cool. And the only problem that is going to have is there's enough tools by which FlyQuest can try and get on top of it that it won't necessarily be able to do the most damage in these games. So it will be a lot on Team LCL Challengers to create pressure on that side of the map to make sure that they are diving aggressively so that APA can live during these fights. But we see another Cassante coming through. You have your source of magic damage. Team Liquid does not need to pick a cannon here. I said Sion last time. I don't feel as though they need to do that. Malphite actually seems like the character that would really benefit them a lot because of the redundancy in Engage, but instead, going right on back to the cannon said, hey, it's not broken, let's not fix it. We are going to take control of the top side once again and put the onus of execution on Yuji to upset that top side.
And that's what's going to be really on, is Yuji on this Vi and really watching how he could pilot that, because this is something about Yuji that we've always praised about him since coming in to the Academy scene, then Challengers, is how aggressive he can be early into the game and how well he pilots a lot of these AD junglers. And we really were praising before the Qiyana, the Lee Sin when he first kind of joined the league. The Vi, the Wukongs have kind of stepped in as like the go-tos for him. And now that is a lot of pressure put onto the Mongolian jungler for FlyQuest Challengers to really get the edge over our spring MVP of Mir.
And as they start to look at it, it is worth noting, right, UG Spirax were a couple players that have been requesting to play together for a long time, but this is an opportunity to try and shut down their opponents. We know Spirax and APA are good friends. We know that UG and Mir have constantly butted heads in these games. This is an opportunity for them to continue that once again. But just as we were talking about before, right, the range advantage that some teams have been drafting today, this time I really like it for Team Liquid just because the Space Dragon just has so much extra pressure. The later the game goes, eventually you just get to win for free.
But it is still going up against Nazir and Xayah as well. Neither of them slouches in the late game. I think it's really going to come down to how this mid game works. As long as we don't have another chaotic fight like we did in that previous game, Josh, where everything was boiled down to essentially a quadra kill early for Arrow. I feel like both teams have great scaling, great team fight capabilities, especially when we look at possibly some of the pick potential for FlyQuest Challengers. You talked about APA on the Space Dragon. Very susceptible to getting caught out by all the dive that is on FlyQuest.
Have to be very careful. Already starting off with the black hole, as you do. I love, honestly, one of my favorite things about not APA, or about Aurelion Sol is the number of times you just sit there, you throw a black hole on a wave, and just watch everything execute. APA going in for some wards will be catching out Yuji in exchange for a little bit of priority in the mid lane. It will allow it to bounce back towards the other side. But now, Team Liquid, they have junglers doing mirrored starts, both starting off on the Raptors. Probably going to be going to either Red or Krugs. Whoa.
Flash
whoa, 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 whoa.
Looking for Arrow, immediately cleansed away. This time around, FlyQuest Challengers do not want to even give an avenue for Arrow to have that early game pressure.
And it is going to be a couple of summoners traded back and forth, but it is going to be persuading Arrow to go for a full reset. Not going to have an opportunity to come back in, and that's a drastic difference from what we saw in Game 1. Winsome just being super aggressive. This is something we have not been seeing from Leonas in a while.
We don't really see much Leona right now. Let's be real.
True.
So having Winsome playing that aggressively, getting an early cleanse, which props over to Arrow. That was a very nice cleanse that he had on that one. He barely was even stunned up, but he did get forced out of lane. That was a whole wave that got crashed, and look at his CS right now. He's got nothing. It's all Kim down who's got it.
This is where you just swap roles at this point, right? Just like, okay, well, too bad I'm not playing Senna. This is a really rough spot for Arrow to start off on, and he tries to contest everything, this time being a little too far forward. And I'm really curious what it is that Yuji wants to do with it. We were saying that he is going to be drawn towards the top side to change the balance of power that Bradley and Faisal had in Game 1. He's drawn towards the mid lane because he wants to shut down Aurelion Sol's scaling opportunities. And now he's got another opportunity to go down towards the bottom lane where Arrow, now with no cleanse, is a very easy target for them to try and jump on top of.
Props over to Arrow. Held onto the flash the entire time. Didn't burn that summoner spell. The biggest problem is going to be the wave slowly pushing back towards FlyQuest, and a lot there that Masu can grab for himself. Could set up Yuji into the bot lane early on, who's just been power farming his way into the bot lane as you were calling out with his pathing. But Mir's been doing the same. He is just in kind. The only difference is he has skipped over the blue buff. Will be spotted out. And we're having something almost like a repeat of last game here in the bot lane, but Masu took a lot of damage. Does dodge a wave from the grand entrance, but him down, taking a lot of damage on the way out.
Yeah, both supports going in, trying to find some of these engages, neither really being rewarded for it. So Team Liquid, they will eventually get this wave into a position where it will start bouncing back to them at the very least. But at the same time, if we look towards the top side, it's also worth praising that FlyQuest doing a much better job farming this time around than they were in game 1.
Still waiting for the wave to crash, but bot lane does not stop. Masu and Winsome really want to win this 2v2 battle against Arrow. Feels like Masu, this rookie player, maybe feeling a little bitter about the last game, that early quadra kill that Arrow was able to get and make it so that he couldn't play the game. This time around, look at the lead they have. They're even bringing back Mir to the bot lane. Winsome does have the way out of there, and once Yuji shows in the bot lane, Mir does not want to continue the play.
Yeah, and I love that from Mir as well, just tapping the wave a little bit, making sure it goes underneath the structure so it will not be frozen. But the early aggression coming out from FlyQuest Challengers bottom lane still paying off dividends as Arrow 2 waves behind already in this game. At the same time, on the top side, Bradley doing a decent job shutting down a lot of the pressure that Faisal might have been able to build in this game. And so, again, Team Liquid Challengers, they don't have the same kind of lead that they did last time around. Spyrex not moving out at all on Team Liquid Challengers. They're going to have to play this one a bit more traditionally than they have some of their other games, right? That last game was mostly them. Whenever they would encounter FlyQuest, they'd be like, okay, well, it's time to fight. We're just going to go for this big flank. Oh, you're sending one person there. Okay, we're going to send 2 to pick you off in the side lane. This time, they actually need to fight for some of these objectives.
I did like what All Crowdery said. When does the FlyQuest Team Liquid game start? The first game doesn't count, right?
First game doesn't count. You know, it's just a warm-up game, right?
I feel like FlyQuest wish that was the rule, just a warm-up game, but that's not the case. They did suffer that loss, and now in this game, as you were kind of calling out, it is quite a different case, and you'd expect that to be the case for FlyQuest. When you have a scenario as you did in game 1, a series of unfortunate events that made it so that every single lane was pretty much in a massive deficit right out of the gates. This game, much better look, even mid lane, but we look top lane. Faisal still's got to worry about Bradley, who used the Slicing Maelstrom just to clear out the wave so that possibly could even crash the wave and look elsewhere.
Ooh. Just an ultimate coming out from APA, stacking up a little bit more of the Stardust, the Aurelian Soul Bucks to scale a bit faster into the game, but giving up, recognizing that the Dragon is already down, not going to be contesting for that at all. Team Liquid free to use ultimates elsewhere on the map in order to find a little bit of laning advantages. But still, I also want to praise Spyrex move down for a potential look towards the bottom side of the map, and he didn't lose any minions for it that time, right? He made sure that his wave was already pushed out and didn't end up spending forever in the river trying to overforce the play, and that's definitely FlyQuest showcasing that they are doing a little bit of learning between the games, and now Team Liquid have to be a little bit careful, but they have Mir in their back pocket.
Oh, we're giving them hugs. It looks like they all took notes, right? They all learned from that last game, and going into this game, pretty much every one of the lanes is doing fine for FlyQuest outside of this top lane. Still struggling a little bit, but nowhere near the level of last game, where Bradley had that early solo kill over Faisal. This time around, Faisal has been laning a lot stronger and actually keeping up toe-to-toe against Bradley, while Mir looking for this play in the bot lane, but so is Yuji on the other side. Winsome cutting back towards his team, and that's going to be the cease and desist on Arrow. They've got a lot of damage. Trying to pull back. They're going to pick up first blood. What a feather call! The flash away! Masu still cutting it, finally dies, but the play is FlyQuest.
And it's a turnaround from what we saw in game 1. It's Yuji walking away with 3 kills after this massive play on the bottom side of the map. Arrow goes down, Kim down goes down, Mir also picks up, and suddenly so much pressure, and Faisal's here too.
And guess what? Alley-oop scoop right over to Faisal, and this game Completely opposite of what we saw in Game 1 for FlyQuest.
Wow, a massive lead coming out for the side of FlyQuest. We said that the way to beat Team Liquid is through the early game when they try to get too fancy with some of these plays, win some punishing arrow this time as they find their way on. And even though he has the cleanse to try and get out, I thought Yuji going here was pretty deep, but there's just enough damage. He's already level 6. Mir not having access to that ultimate means that everybody else can't get out. And if they're able to get this little bit of damage onto Masu as well, at least one of Kim Down and Mir probably lives. But the rest of them just getting caught means there's so much going over towards FlyQuest. And Team Liquid, they're aggressively rotating yet again, picking up the Rift Herald so that they can try and find something else in the map.
Gaining something, anything back on the map. Gonna help out Team Liquid just a little bit, but after that, the mid lane play too. Faisal roaming down into the mid lane to give Spyrex his kill over this Aurelion Sol. The scaling aspects of Team Liquid Challengers now struggling a little bit, and look at Masu.
Oh,
look how aggressive he can play into Arrow. He's not really deterred because anytime Kim Down's not there, he can look for the play, and they can even look to turn this around, but now that the quickness is up for Kim Down, you gotta be a little bit more cautious.
Yeah, I mean, Kim Down has so much more experience than what you're expecting a support to have, just because he got a couple waves all to himself, a couple waves of solo experience, but now Winsome looking again.
Solar Flare flashed away. Arrow still holding that since the last play. With that burned, he is very susceptible now. Cleanse still a little bit of time away. FlyQuest don't want to overstep their welcome this time around, but they're continuing to find these great plays early into the game.
I'm really going to be looking at where Yuji goes. Right now with the flash down, there's not another objective for another 90 seconds for them to play around it. The perfect place to go is going to be for the bottom lane. So Arrow and Kim Down, watch to see when they actually get their back off before this upcoming dragon. It looks like they're resetting relatively early in order to spend gold. That means that they are still going to be in the bot lane around the time that the dragon spawns, when Yuji already wants to be bot lane, and he's already starting to move aggressively because he knows he can fight anybody on Team Liquid.
Getting a lot of control here over Team Liquid as well, and with the reset from Mir, even if it's a minute away until that dragon spawn, look at what FlyQuest are doing. Yuji and Winsome taking full control of this bottom quadrant of the map, so that way not only can they escort minions in the bot lane to get some plates for Masu, but as you called out, 45 seconds left until that dragon spawns, they can then heal back for the objective and gain themselves the second neutral objective of the game for themselves.
Arrow and Kim Down, they only lose about a wave for that as another play is picked up. And look at where Yuji is positioning, right? This has been a gank that some teams have had a lot more success with than others, but Yuji just looking to see if APA is going to put themselves in a position of danger. And Spyrex, I mean, this is one of the dangerous things about this point of Aurelion Sol, is you just take so much damage every time you try and go for the Breath of Light. And it looks like Team Liquid going to be giving up another dragon. They already got one. His name's Aurelion Sol.
Yeah, but that's not going to give you the extra stats now, is it, Josh? That's the big thing, especially the stacking game here for FlyQuest. Could get them their second one. They already have all the objectives they need. Control mid lane with the wave crashing yet again. Spyrex gaining the advantage of the other former Maryville mid laner in APA. Both of them graduates of that program. Well, graduates as in they played for that program and then moved on here into Challenger team.
Alumni, shall we say?
There we go.
Yeah. Also, praise to Getback. Been doing pretty well as another Maryville mid laner, but Team Liquid trying to find something. This
Getback's the
Herald,
current mid laner of Maryville. Of course he is.
not
Spyrex
all
and
Maryville
APA
mid laners have to play well.
But yeah, but they play on. But he's on the team, and then Spyrex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Yuji.
Yuji. A little bit of danger, flashing away as the skies descend. Not actually going to tag anybody.
Yeah, just getting a little bit of damage across the board. Did use a big ultimate there from APA. Now he's going to have to farm up quite a bit before going for another play. So look at this up in the top lane. Again, it is a lead going over to Bradley, but nowhere near as large as what we saw previously, as it has been such a strong opportunity for Bradley to play the first one. But Team Liquid now looking to punish Spyrex.
Spyrex, Grima Shuffle away. Nice juke away, but with the Rift Herald having already been pumped by Mir here in the mid lane, that's going to be the Shelly charge, taking quite a number of plates. Even if Spyrex does get a lot of damage back on the APA, 2 plates of gold shared amongst the 3.
And he's just one. That looks like it's still above the third plate mark.
Oh, it
second
is.
plate mark. Yeah.
It is. Wow.
Really tough spot there coming out for Team Liquid. I was just calling out, right, like Mir has been sitting on this Rift Hold for a long time. It has to be really close to expiring. They only get one plate off it, but Winsome.
Winsome venturing a lonesome into the jungle. They'll be punished for that one. There's no way to escape. As best as you try, they can easily follow that up. So Mir getting some extra gold for himself.
Yeah, trying to give it over to Arrow if he could, but not able to do so. Instead, it is going to be going over towards Mir. Been a massive carry for this team so far, but still lagging behind UG. And it's been fascinating to watch both of these players try and cement themselves in this region. Mir, one of the best players, and there's a big conversation, right? Is this a big redemption? He was playing in Korea before, and then moved over to the LCO. And now he comes back over to North America where he can play for Team Liquid, following a lot of the previous Oceanic players that have come through this program. Wins Most Valuable Prospect last split after, honestly, one of the most ridiculous debut performances we've seen from many players.
Yeah, how much control he had over all the other junglers in the league as well. That really did set up Team Liquid Honda Challengers to have quite the performance in spring, even if they didn't end up winning the entirety of the split. It was such a key factor for their success. And looking here in the summer, him and APA, like APA is definitely someone who has already been doing well in spring, but really stepping up even more so here in summer. But you're struggling against another mid laner of Maryville, who just Sally scoops them right underneath the turret. Does take the star falling, almost dying. Gravitum rooting him down, but Arrow, the Q does not connect, and guess who's on the other side? It's Winsome and Yuji, but Mir's hunting down Spyrex. He really wants this kill. The movement speed to try to get out of there. Shurima shuffle juke. Oh, the red buff, I thought for a second was getting aggroed.
Oh my gosh, and Masu this entire time wailing away in the bottom lane. Team Liquid get nothing for their troubles. Absolutely nothing. It's like the chocolate factory. What are you supposed to get at this point? Masu gonna be walking away with a golden ticket at this point as he gets 2 kills off of this structure.
One more,
right?
2 more.
There it is.
There it is. He does get it. Should be able to escape from APA as well, since APA does not have the star anymore. But all the while, even though Masu does get another turret in the bot lane, Team Liquid, because they were able to chase away Spyrex for so long out of the jungle, they do come back onto the map, they give themselves the second Rift Herald of the game for themselves, and I'm really curious to see how they're actually going to use this one.
Yeah.
Because this game is very close, especially compared to the last game where at this point TLC had something like a 12,000 gold lead, which was absolutely insane. So FlyQuest with only 1,302 dragons to their name, Team Liquid could look towards this top lane to get Bradley out of this lane and start getting him a part of these team fights.
Yeah, and I also want to point out one of the big things that I'm always looking at for Yuji as a massive confidence player. When he first came in, we were kind of like, you know, this guy seems like he has hands, I guess, but he wasn't really doing much. He really found his stride in the second half of spring 2022 when he started finding his confidence. But we haven't really seen a whole lot of pressure coming up from him after getting that triple kill, after accelerating himself, and he's actually currently behind in items to Mir, which is kind of wild considering how accelerated this guy got to start the game.
I wonder if it's maybe a combination of he hasn't gotten the reset just yet for some time, as well as those plates picked up and shared by Mir, but look at this. Looking towards the bot lane. Turret has been placed down. That's going to be another star.
Nice.
Pull back in.
Okay.
Embers Divide away with the Shurima Shuffle. And guess who's here? The rest of FlyQuest. Solarflame did not connect, but the Zenith Blade will. As Winsome wasn't with the team, so he gets bursted down pretty low. The rest of TLC will scare away FlyQuest from continuing the chase. And guess what's up? Dragon. Third one of the game, possibly for FlyQuest. So TLC could opt to take the objective.
Yeah, and everybody from Team Liquid, as they are posturing for this one, there's going to be a teleport coming out from Spyrex into the mid lane.
No Emperor's Divide from Spyrex, so all he's going to do is clear out the wave while FlyQuest are waiting for Winsome to show back up.
Team Liquid, they're going to be pulling the Dragon here as well, dropping the Herald into the mid lane. The members of FlyQuest all over the place.
Bradley and Mir, they know that Yuji went over the wall. No blast cone this time, so Mir decides to go for it. Getting a lot of damage. Pulled back in with the cease and desist. Skin downs over the wall, but Winsome there to protect the jungler. Trying to help him out. Spyrex wants to get a part of the fight, but look at Bradley chasing this one down. They got the kill on the other side. Mazu was able to get Arrow. Slicing Maelstrom. It's doing a little bit of damage. Gonna take down Winsome, but it turned back. It's gonna be 2 for 1 at the moment. FlyQuest still have the advantage, and because their jungler is still up, they can go back onto the dragon. But here comes the TP. This ain't over just yet, Josh. It's down to 50%. That's a big ult. Is it gonna burst down? Mir tries to get inside. Oh, it's for Masu. Masu's taken down by Mir. They've kited it back out. Yuji onto the dragon. Mir's gonna fall to Spyrex, and Smite secured. Yuji got the dragon. While the rest of the fight, APA couldn't get away because the Emperor survived. And FlyQuest, it was messy. It was all over the place. But with a triple kill to cap it off, they take the fight.
And Spyrex, even though he was the one that the entire sequence started on, trying to pick him down the bottom lane, walks away with all the gold he could ask for, finding 3 kills in that last sequence. And it starts off here. Bradley actually splits the fight super hard. You can see that APA and Arrow, with nobody left to feel for them, ends up getting bursted out by Masu and Files. But Bradley on the far side, not able to join the rest of the team, not able to flash over the wall to keep the fight in the pit where Team Liquid was. The geography suddenly makes no sense. Their battle lines suddenly all over the place, and as we go for the re-engage, even though they're able to find their way onto Masu, look at what Faisal actually does for this fight. He sees the fight is happening, and he takes Mir out of the pit, making sure that he is not in a position to go for any smite steals, and Yuji will secure the 3rd dragon of the game.
Third dragon, but now mid lane. Masu again getting attacked, and this time tackled pretty quickly by TLC. Even though Faisal's going to make it out alive, TLC at least gained themselves more control, and with only a few seconds left until the Baron, they are pinging the Purple Worm.
And move forward, game 2. Team Liquid looking for an opportunity to start this right off the bat, trying to find an opportunity where FlyQuest are not prepared, but Spyrex is so strong.
Look at that damage he did to Bradley. They're focused on a Bradley. Take out the team fighter. There goes the cannon, but still in the pit. 25% health.
Oh, they're all dead.
Slide in,
they're all dead.
And they're looking for everyone. They're pinned. And guess who can't get out? TLC. How do you survive this one when FlyQuest are on top of everybody? With Mir and Kim down on the other side, but they're getting chased away. Faisal making sure they cannot get the Baron. And even though TLC started it, FlyQuest, they secure it.
Wow, another great fight coming up from Spyrex, locking everybody in the wall. Mir,
Faisal's not done. Are you sure right now? Because he wants this fight so bad. He wanted to pick up the kill, and that was between turrets. Keep that in mind. That's how early this technically is for that Baron to fall.
Yeah, I mean, 20 minutes into the game, it is going to be going over to FlyQuest. Team Liquid trying to find an opportunity to turn around the fight, but yet again, Yuji finds his way onto Bradley, takes him out of the fight relatively early, and then after that, I mean, the damage from Team Liquid just isn't there as they start trying to continue burning down the Baron. But APA gets caught, Arrow gets caught. They're in the same place, and even though they both flash, they flash into the cage where Yuji is ready to pick them up on the back side and absolutely blow apart any damage that Team Liquid is trying to bring in this fight. The geography that Team Liquid, their setups, their ability to pick teams apart has been so good throughout the split, but this game, FlyQuest are outdoing them.
The fact that that Emperor's Divide worked as that cage that you called out there, Josh, was kind of perfect.
Like a Jarvital.
It was literally like the perfect placement where there's no escape. They have this small corridor, this small little window that they can somehow get out of, but because that's a very tight corridor, that meant that Yuji Spyrex were getting all this free damage on them.
One of the things that FlyQuest are going to have to run up against is this Aurelion Soul, right? We already talked about how much damage it can do later on in the game, but it also has a really cool button. Kimdon goes in.
Looking for Masu. Up into the air he goes. The TP from Kennen as well. Efforts Divide to make sure he can't get there with the season assist as well. They blow up Bradley. Spyrex is godlike, and the damage that he provides takes down Arrow too. And look at this, undeterred, unstopped, APA and Mir. They cannot escape from this battle that they tried to pick themselves. It's barely a TP away from APA, barely escaping.
Barely escaping, not even by a dime, just barely missing, coming in from Yuji, just having to guess at where they were. And this is going to allow them to take down the structures, right? Aurelion Sol so good at stopping. He's the only person alive. Will be able to clean up some of these waves, but 8-0-4 coming out from Spyrex. Masu barely living through that entire sequence, and we get to see Team Liquid. Bradley dies with his ults and flash up again. APA not able to get damage in that fight. Arrow stepping so far forward, ends up putting himself in a spot where they don't get anybody trying to kill Masu in the first place.
And now we see this massive gold lead for FlyQuest. They have nearly 9,000 gold over TLC, just a little bit above the 8,500 gold mark. Where with Baron buff on really critical members such as Spyrex, they can easily siege down TLC.
2 seconds.
2 seconds, and there goes the Churro Baron.
And Churro Baron buff is gone. But they did get a couple of crucial structures. They will get this mid lane turret anyway. But the big thing that's going to be tough for them is wherever Aurelion Sol is, it's very difficult for FlyQuest Challengers to actually push through, because he pushes E on the wave, and that wave does not move. The minions cannot continue pushing. That's part of why it's so important for FlyQuest to kill him during these engagements. Now Spyrex looking for the 1v1.
Two friends about to meet in the top lane, but one has a 3-level lead over the other. Even if that didn't land, there's way too much damage from Spyrex. And look at this, Mir shows up, but he goes golden, and now that Yuji's here too, honestly, Spyrex could have just won this 1v2.
Yeah, Spyrex so far ahead at this point, 10-0-4. Masu trying to chase down other people on the map, but all the core members of Team Liquid, actually literally everybody on the map, just doesn't do any damage at this point in the game. You see it came down an arrow trying to find something cheeky. Bradley made with a flash. Never mind.
That's hoping for a lot now. Look, Yuji, they're feeling that confident. They can look for the dive on an arrow underneath the turret. And they've already blown up Bradley, so even with Slicing Maelstrom, it's just too much damage. That is a 13-0 Azir here 25 minutes into the game. 3 items, nearly his 4th one completed.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic performance. Spyrex still trying to put pressure onto APA.
And all out as well from Faisal to chase down the Star Dragon. They do get the kill onto Faisal. There's still enough minions pouring into the base. And look at Spyrex, he wants this so bad. That's gonna be an alley-oop scoop, legendary Spyrex. Mirrors the next casualty as he flashed forward, looking for the bird, but the bird is the word, and it's double kill for Spyrex.
15-0-4, we set a new record not that long ago, Alex. We actually set it yesterday. Shochi topping the charge with the most kills in a single game at 17 on his Tristana. Spyrex, 2 kills away, and there's going to be at least a whole nother fight. Came down trying to find Yuji.
Doing his best to get on top of Yuji, but Yuji dashing over the wall. He'll escape from that one. And now an 11,000 gold lead. This is definitely a complete reversal of fates between the two teams going into this one, and kind of illustrates why both teams we've heavily praised and looked at being as some of our strongest teams. TLC in game 1, how they could use the early lates, but then FlyQuest, determination that they have to reset after such a devastating game 1 loss, to be like, all right, we can bounce back into this one. How do we find the plays? Let's be a little bit more tempered in how we look for them, because we still have that power to outplay TLC.
We also got to give some praise, even though they faltered a little bit later on in the game, the engage is not as clean. The level 1 play coming out from Winsome really setting up Masu for a lot of strength. And now APA hunting around. He's got a big ultimate to go for, but he doesn't do any damage. It takes him forever to chew through any of these frontline members.
Exactly, and with Spyrex, level 17, APA, he was the one with the massive experience lead in game 1, and now it is Spyrex's turn to have that back. And look at Bradley. He's getting chased away by Yuji, who's the same level, the jungler, same as the top lane, and Bradley, he tries to have some fancy feet there, even using the ult, but he just gets burst down way too quickly. Back in mid lane, here comes the Star Dragon. Skies Descend slows down and gets the knockup onto Faisal, but really doing no damage to them.
And hitting Krugs in the top side of the map as well whenever he throws it out. But, I mean, the range doesn't matter very much when you're losing everything. The Baron buff is going to be going over. That is going to be a FlyQuest with the 2nd Turo Baron buff of the game. This should be enough to actually close it out. And again, the record, we are 2 kills away from Spyrex to tie Shochi for most kills in a Challengers game this split, and I believe possibly ever.
I'd have to check exactly the total number we've had in Challengers / Academy.
17's a lot.
I know one split we had 19.
Oh,
So that's the only thing.
That's also a lot.
That's a lot. And so we'll have to see if Sparks can actually top all charts here in both Challengers and Academy. Right now he is 2 away from at least topping Spring, if at least maybe tying it. 3 to take the lead by himself. As they siege down these turrets, uncontested by TLC. They're so far behind, they don't even want to look for the fight against FlyQuest.
Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid, what can they even do? Bradley doesn't have the ultimate, APA doesn't have his either. Waiting a couple crucial seconds to try and find the best fight they possibly can, but they're not giving the time.
Oh, you gotta go for something anyways, and they get the kill. Sparks, that's gonna be 1 under the belt. Looking for more as they got the kills. But look at that, it's gonna be tied up record.
Dive him, dive him, dive
the
him.
only one. They could dive him. They could give the lead to Sparks, and they want to do that. They're looking for APA. So close to death. He'll survive. He gets a quadra kill as everyone tried to dive him. But Yuji, he'll end the game. It's a tied record for Spyrex.
Oh, that was it Spyrex who scooped everybody onto the fountain himself against Team Liquid last year. That did that exact thing that turned the game. I got shades. I was wondering if that's what we were gonna see, but no, we get 2 absolute schlackings one way or another. This honestly, I so wish we got to see a game 3 between these 2 teams because we saw game 1. They try and make a play happen down in the bottom side. Arrow gets 4 kills out of it. This time, they go down bottom lane again, and it's Yuji that walks away with a triple kill, and Spyrex, who absolutely destroys the rest of the game, more than 1,000 gold per minute. And how does this keep happening? Alex, that's the 4th time that I know of in the past 2 days that somebody has had more than 40% of their team's damage share in a single game.
I mean, when you have 17 kills on your team, I would assume that you would have that much damage. In fact, I'm surprised it wasn't 50% because he was doing so much work for the team, especially with that Azir.
Absolutely insane stuff. Spyrex looking good once again in this last week. So far, I think this might be Spyrex's best week of play.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I would
week
agree.
4, really stepping up, and FlyQuest Challengers maintaining the lead that Team Liquid started the week with. 4 wins behind here for FlyQuest Challengers, and hopefully they can actually continue to climb the standings to challenge some of our top dogs.
And I believe that keeps them tied in the standings with Wildcard in 2nd place as well. But that is going to be a FlyQuest game 2 win, tying us up at 1 apiece. We're going to toss to a break, and when we come back, Mazel will be back with an interview of the victorious FlyQuest Challengers. You won't want to miss it.
The LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. Find your drive.
Welcome back one final time to the Verizon post-game interview, and I've got none other than the pop-off king from that last game. I've got Spyrex from FlyQuest Challengers. And man, you make the Emperor of Shurima look damn good, my friend. You've had an incredible weekend. Maybe besides that first game not going your way,
Yeah.
I will just ask, what is it? What has kind of got this rise up from you? What can you attribute a lot of this success to?
Honestly, not too sure, because the way we play scrims and the way we play on stage is like different for the most part. But I mean, me and Yuji are comfortable. Like we play pretty well together, I would say, and yeah. I guess you could say I'm like overperforming a little bit, but I'm playing matchups that I'm like really comfortable on, so that helps a lot.
The humble king, man. You're now tied with Shochi at 17 kills in 2023. Does that mean anything for you? Yeah, you get the shout out, but you guys are kind of popping off here as mid laners and getting a lot of kills. Did you feel like that game was going to culminate in something like that?
I mean, I thought it was gonna be like bloody at one point, like once we get our items, because I mean both mid laners want to scale, but yeah, I didn't really expect it to turn out that way, but I'll take it.
Hey, you take those every time, my man. You also, speaking of the guy you got to go up against, you know him pretty damn well. It's APA from Maryville. A little bit of friendship there, a little bit of bond, but not on the Rift. How did you feel about the matchup going into it? And then I'd love to get your thoughts afterwards as well.
It's always exciting versing him, because obviously we're like close friends, and well, thank God we got a win, because right now he was like this split he's 3-1 against me, so it feels nice to get a win against him. And yeah.
Hey, So you feel a little bit more relieved now, at least afterwards, you'll take that. But what is up with the collegiate bids, man? You guys are just all popping off.
Yeah, I mean, I think me, Getback, and AP are all having like a pretty good, at least for this week, we're like all performing pretty well. So, which is pretty nice to see, as we all know like each other, and we've all been to MU. So
Dan's just sitting there like, yes, go forward. Now I do want to look ahead at the second round robin. You guys have already had a couple tough matchups, but is there anybody that you're really looking forward to either getting some revenge on or having a little bit of fun with as the season goes to a close?
There's no team in particular. Like the only one I could consider is like MU, just because they beat us, and I felt like the 2 games that we played against them were like very winnable. But props to them, they're like improving so fast, and they're also like they're probably like the best team when it comes to like just playing together.
Yep.
So
pretty nice. Pretty nice to see. They've definitely had to come up with themselves, but you guys are feeling pretty good. You guys, after this performance, at least right the ship a little bit. It seems like you guys are out to perform and maybe prove the haters wrong. Do you have any messages to some of those doubters who are still doubting FlyQuest Challengers?
well, I think I was gonna curse there. I mean, I don't have much to say. Just we'll do our best. That's all I can say.
All right, go from cursing him to saying, we'll do our best. Don't worry about it. I love you so much, man. You're so hilarious. I do want to ask you, though. I know you're here in LA. I know maybe you're not celebrating as much, but you know if FlyQuest has any 4th of July plans? Are you guys doing any bonding here this weekend? Or this week?
Okay, well, first of all, I didn't even know it was or I knew it was a thing, but I wasn't like expecting it. I mean, I'm Canadian, so like I just. Wait, is that a thing?
You got to celebrate a couple days ago.
Maybe I just don't know anything, but...
Don't out yourself, man. Don't out yourself.
Okay, I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, but maybe we'll probably like to do something, because it's probably going to be like our off day as well, like the same day. So we'll like to do something as a team.
Speaking of doing things as a team, do you and Yuji end up having a lot of bonding experiences or doing a lot of things together? Because you guys' synergy has been so good this split.
Yeah, well, I think me and him are definitely like closest to each other, like within the team, because now it's been like almost 2 years at this point that we've been playing together, and like even outside the game, like we'd walk back to the apartments together, and like we talk a lot about just random things as well, not just like league related stuff.
Awesome to hear a little bit of friendship going through. All right, I've taken your ear for long enough. Let me give you a chance to give some shout outs, talk about whoever you want to, and I'll let you go.
Shout out to TL, they're a good team. Shout out to MU, I like those guys. Shout out to my team, of course. And yeah, that's all I have.
All right, Spyrax, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to
Thank
get
you.
to talk with you. And keep popping off, man. It's looking nice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring back my analysts here, as I have Magical and Moshi with me to finish out the day. I just had to do it one more time.
One more time.
I keep
One more.
forgetting that. That's been a thing today.
But really love to hear from Spyrax. Obviously, humble king as always, but specifically knowing that the kind of come up is on its way here, Magical.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see, and this is why Josh was saying it. I would love to see a Game 3 between these two teams after how they played today. Like, it makes me really excited for when they meet in playoffs and how that's going to be in best of 3s, best of 5s, because honestly, I see that series especially going the full distance.
I definitely do. And we'll actually look at the distance that we covered today as we are in our second round robin. We got to look at our standings. TLC, they might have taken a little bit of a lump today, but they are still heads and above everyone else. And Joshi got a little breakdown for the heavy pack that we have at 2 to 3 and 4.
And we're finally starting to see some real separation, right? You have Team Liquid by themselves. You have Wildcard through Maryville, separated by 2 games. You have a 2-game gap, and then you have AoE, Supernova, Evil Geniuses, and Taco, Team Fish Taco. This is finally what we were kind of expecting, and anybody who is in that bottom clump still has an opportunity to try and climb their way up. They still have 2 weeks of games plus a day in order to try and climb their way back into the top half of the standings.
And what about you, Magical? Any thoughts here? Another 1-1 from Maryville. We had a lot of 1-1s on the other stream, actually all of them. But any thoughts on the standings so far?
I mean, a lot of things are looking kind of as we expected. Like Team Liquid top team looking really strong, even though they did fall today. You know, they have had some stumblings here in the second part of the round robins after having gone 1-1 yesterday against Maryville. Today, game 1 looked more like what we expected from them, but then FlyQuest, I think, also showing why they were a team that we highly praised going into the season. PSG as well, another team that is starting to kind of find their groove, even though they had a hiccup yesterday as well, looking like one of those top teams.
It definitely is. But that is rounding out our second day of this weekend, and it was an absolute fun one. I don't think we got necessarily the slugfest that we were hoping for until this last game, until our match of the weekend, but it absolutely delivered. So I want to give a huge shout out to you, Magical, to you, Joshi, to Cinzia behind the scenes as well, all making everything happen here. And also a special shout out to Turo, because the LCS Challengers League is brought to you by Turo, the world's largest car sharing marketplace where you can book any car you want for just about any occasion. If you want to take pictures, you want to go on a little road trip, you just want a cool car, forget about your boring rental. Try Turo.com. That is it for us. We're going to go raid Biofrost. Make sure you give him a nice hello. Spam those emotes after you sub to these channels. And we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.